Hello, everyone. Today on the Pearl Show, I'll be talking to Dawn. She's a 26-year-old female, and we're going to sit here and have a discussion a little bit about the betrayal that her child's father caused her. So, Dawn, can you tell me a little bit about y'all relationship?
Yes. We met a year ago at my job at Choose,
Okay.
and he was mind blowing over me. So he asked for my number, and his smile caught my eye.
Hmm.
So I ended up giving him my number. Everything was going good until I found out all the lies and stuff with him staying with a female, and he trying to make me pay for her insurance car insurance.
Hmm.
When I'm thinking it was just me on the like I'm just paying like just my car. So I ended up ending it with him sometime in I think in like the little beginning of August
Hmm.
of 2018. So then in I think probably like around December or November the 30th, he ended up coming back, like popping up at the store and calling my phone because I had his number blocked. So he
Okay.
called from another number. And so when I ended up taking him home, I asked him what he was trying to do. Did he just want to be friends, or do you want something like actually want to be in a relationship? He said he wanted something real. He was serious, that he changed and everything. And then he got on his knees and,
Want to beg you back?
yes. And so I'm like, okay, he seems sincere. And so I'm like, I'm going to give him another chance. So then everything was going good, going through a couple of months. And then all of a sudden, it just felt like the lies wasn't adding up right. Like every time I asked a question, it didn't seem like it didn't make sense. So I was like, okay, like, I might go get. He had a little phone he had on the side. So
Okay. Oh,
I
he
said,
had two phones.
yeah, he got actually three phones, but one of them's kind of cracked, and the other one is like it got all his information in it.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, even though he got the active phone, but this one, even though this one right here off, it still keep all your information and everything in there. So even though he went through Google Photos saved everything. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to go through the Google Photos, man.
Okay, so let me let you stop right there. So, with all this taking place, y'all breaking up, getting back together, how long did y'all know each other?
Only for almost 2 years. That was it.
About 2 years?
Yeah.
So, when did you get pregnant?
I got pregnant. Cause I was on birth control, and because we planned it, I was on birth control, and I took it out January of last year, and then I ended up getting pregnant June the 20th.
So, okay, so how many kids do y'all have together?
Just only one.
Just one. Does he have other kids?
Yes, and that's when I don't find out that, because I thought he just had 4 kids. Come to find out he got 8 kids altogether.
Wow.
Plus like with mine with that 8.
How did you find that out?
Through another person he had a child by.
Wow, wow.
Yes.
Wow. So, during the duration of y'all relationship, did y'all ever live together?
Well, when around that time, I say probably like the beginning of June, that's when we started living together.
Okay.
That's when he was staying. That's when he got whoever he was staying with. When I kind of found out they was together, but he made it seem that they wasn't together either.
Okay.
But he wasn't staying with her no more, and he was staying on his father's property.
Okay.
So me and him was staying together for like a month, and I'll say probably like almost 2 months, and then it didn't work out.
So during the time of y'all staying together, were y'all happy? When were you ever happy with him?
Yes, we was happy. That's the
Okay.
thing. We was happy until his other baby mama, that he got 3 kids. Like he got full custody of his 3 kids now.
Okay.
So his other baby mama came around. That's when everything fell apart.
Okay. So when that situation came around, when did you start noticing patterns that were different to make you feel like something was going on, that something wasn't
How he
adding
was
up?
moving. That's when I started like even though it's the lies, like even though how he talked, cause he got a real good talk game. Like he could persuade anybody. To me, like he probably could get a turtle to say, hey, you need this doggone hat on your head, even though the turtle don't need a hat. But he got a real good talk game. So I'm like, okay, so how he be talking, I'm like, okay, it makes sense, but then it don't make sense. But how he moved too, on top of that, that's how I found out like he ain't got his own spot. That's how I found out, oh no, you still got feelings for your baby mama. And that's how I found out a whole bunch of stuff. And then people come to me on top of that know him and be like, it would give me warning signs and stuff about him. And I'm like, no, I'm just gonna see for myself, know. But then at the period of time, I ended up falling in love. Now that first beginning, I wasn't. I was still trying to see who he was. But when we got back together, that's when all the feelings, and I fell in love hard for him. So it was kind of hard trying to let him go. Like, even though I knew how the type of person he was, but then I accepted it. But then I'm like, bruh, this don't treat me how you gonna treat.
Respect
Yeah. And I'm like, he told me, okay, I'm not gonna do that and all of that. But then when I found out this video, and I'm like, no, like,
Okay, so when you found the video with him having sex with another woman in the telephone, was that the first sign of being unfaithful?
no, that was
So
not
what
the
was
first
the
time.
first sign
The
of being
first time is
unfaithful?
when I had just got a car, and some girl hit me up on Facebook and was
Okay.
like, "What's up with you and him?" And I was like, um, I was like, "Me, that's my man. Like, that me and him talking, me and him going together." And she was like, well, I said, "What's up?" I said, well, who is you?" Well, I knew who she was because he told me, he was like, "Oh, that's." He told me that was nobody, that she stayed far away or whatnot. I said, "Okay, whatever." But then I was like, "Well, what's up?" And she was like, "Oh, and me and him talking." I said, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yeah." She said, "I came down there. We went to go see his mom, and then he lied and said he was Jamaican, and he was not even Jamaican."
Wow.
I was like, "What?" Because he got he chilled with this lady that was Jamaican, but he had everybody thinking
He
that
was Jamaican as
yeah,
well.
because
So what's his race?
it's black African
He's
American.
African American. Okay.
So I was like, "Oh, for real?" So when she told me like, "Yeah, I met his mom," I said, "What mom you met?" And she was like, "The Jamaican lady." I said, "That's not even his real mom. That's just a street mom. That's it."
Okay.
So she was like, "Yeah, but I was in his Jeep," and I said, "In his Jeep?" I said, "That's my car." I was like, "That's
So he
not his
had
car."
another woman in your car.
And yes, and that was the disrespect came from. And I told him, "Do not have another woman in my car." And he swept down, he wasn't gonna do it, but apparently he did it a couple of times. And she was like, "Yeah, he took me back to the hotel and we did this and did that." And I'm like, "Is you serious?" But then at the whole time, I'm asking him, and he denying everything, even though the girl giving me stuff that makes sense. And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, she done described my car. She done tell how this man's body look and everything." And I was like, "She ain't lying."
She ain't lying.
Yeah, so then,
she called you. She contacted you.
yeah, and
So
asked
you
me
knew
about
nothing
him.
about this. She contacted
Because
you.
how he made it seem like they was just friends, and it was nothing serious between them, and then it was just the total opposite.
So when you found a sex tape and that was his telephone?
That was his
So
telephone.
when you found it in his telephone, what was your immediate thoughts, feelings, reactions? How
Okay,
were
because
you feeling?
the girl that was on the video, this was the girl when he was like, because one day she called his phone off a messenger, and I'm like, he looked at me, but he was like, "Oh, they ain't nothing. That's just a Facebook thing." And I'm like, So then all of a sudden one day his kids was like, "Oh, she did my hair, and that's daddy girlfriend." I said, "Daddy girlfriend?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was like, "She told y'all that?" And they was like, "Yeah." So I'm like, so I called him. So I was like, "Oh, so that's your girlfriend?" And he was like, "What you talking about?" I said, "Well, your kids going around telling me that she told them that you her girlfriend. I mean, like she your girlfriend." And he was like, "No, I would. You know how she look. I would never try that. I would never." I was like, "Okay." So he came back home and he corrected the kids and was like, "That's not my girlfriend. So y'all need to stop saying that." And all of a sudden, when I seen her, cause first I was on my phone, I'm like, "Oh, maybe I had to go back to her page and make sure, cause she got tattoos." And I said, "Oh, these the same tattoos." I said, "Oh, but he just told me he would never try
talked
that."
to the girl.
And I'm like, and then this wasn't her first time there. It was the picture I post next to it. That was another date. That was the end of March. So I'm like, "Oh, she done been over there a couple of times."
So at his house.
At his house.
So what made you want to bring it to social media? What made you post
I got
it?
fed up with
You got fed up.
I got fed up.
I can't imagine. You probably were angry, hurt,
Yes.
disappointed.
And then
like,
when I told him about it, he still denied it.
Really?
He still denied it. He was like, "Who?" I ain't that. "Oh, that girl been at my house." I'm like, "Is you serious?" I'm like, "I got the video and the picture," and I was like, "You still denying it?"
So in a matter of you seeing a sex tape, when was the last time y'all had relations?
And then when I seen that, and I seen the day out, he took a picture of me the next day that I seen in his phone, and I'm like, "Bro, I was over there the next day that he had this girl over there recording her." So I'm like, I felt disgusted. Like, I really felt disgusted because, like, how am I supposed to know that he washed the sheets? How am I supposed to know that, anything? Like, I'm like, and then plus with all this going around, like, you can't trust nobody, and you just got all type of people in the bed and everything. So I felt real disgusted when I seen that. And I was like, the next day, and then when I had my child on March the 8th, we did something then, and I'm like, and then, Lord, then it just the same cycle.
Over and over. So what made What made this situation be the breaking point for you?
It, basically, I would say,
Was it more so seeing it with your own eyes?
I won't say with my own eyes because I done seen it multiple times, but it was just like, okay, once, because I was pregnant, and then when I wasn't pregnant, I'm like, okay, I could, I'm going to give them, no, chance after chance. But then it's like, now I got a child now, so I'm like,
You felt like trying to work it out.
But then it's like, no, I'm just like, I can't do it. So now how we stand now is like we just co-parent.
Co-parent. I was just about to ask you to say, y'all co-parent, is it healthy?
Yeah, like, cause now I'm like, now me knowing I'm not in a relationship with him no more, so it's like I'm trying to numb to it now. So me, cause I'm like, yeah, cause he had me thinking that, you know, we was gonna be living together, we gonna be like as one, and he was gonna accept my other 3 kids, and that wasn't, he didn't want them around. And I'm like...
So he had an issue with your children?
Yes, and they wanted me to be there for his, but...
So how did that make you feel as a mother?
That really hurt me.
Yeah,
that really,
kids are
really
non-negotiable,
yes.
like, and you don't need him anyway just off of that one
yes.
right there.
Because I was
like...
Because
if you can't accept my kids,
yes.
you can't accept me.
Because he said, oh, my kid's bad. And I'm like, well, your kid's bad too. And everybody kid's bad on top of that. But at the same time, they kids, and then ain't like my kids don't like them. So I'm like, bro, I said, I accept your kids, why you can't accept mine? And he felt like because they wasn't his. He felt like he didn't want to take weight off of another man's chest. And I'm like...
But when you deal with a woman with children, sometimes you do sign yourself up
yes.
for that.
And that's what my first kid's father said the same thing. He was like, when he was telling me before I met you, Dawn, he was like, I was talking to somebody that had kids too, and he's like, I'd accept the kids. And he was like, I don't know what's up with you and Buddy and everything. I said, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, kids can feel when they're being mistreated.
Yes.
So I'm definitely glad you know, removed yourself from that situation. So was anything ever abusive for you?
It was times when we actually, like,
So was he the aggressor, you the aggressor?
Because I know when I feel like I'm being attacked, I'm going to attack back.
So with all this happening and you know, it gonna get into social media, what was his response?
I don't give a fuck.
That's what he said?
That's what it was. And
so he never kind of admitted?
No, he said, I disrespected him. He said, I disrespected him by posting his thing on Facebook. And I was like, well, if you think about it, I was like, really nobody. I said, even though people knew I was with you, but there's a lot of people that didn't know who he was. So I'm like, bro, I said, ain't like your face is in it. I said, it's really the girl. You could just see the girl. And I was like, I said, but how I disrespected you when you the one who stepped out and did this and recorded the girl and made it seem like you was actually into it with the girl. Like, you made her feel like they was actually together, and you know they was just them. And like, cause me, I don't know, cause even if the girl, if he did tell the girl that he was single and he wasn't taken, at the end of the day he posted me and him just having a baby on his page. So I'm like, you should have had common sense knowing that this man wasn't single or taken. Even what he comes out of his mouth, you should have known. So people was on there talking about that part too.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think that if you're in a relationship, whose job do you think it is to be loyal? Was it a woman's job to be loyal to you, or was it his job?
Both. I think it should be both.
So you think she should have realized and respected that he was in a relationship?
Like it was another time when I was staying with him when he moved into his spot where he was doing all the most stuff at. So I was like, I came home from work, but he usually keep it real with me, and that's why I kind of like the most. But then there were times that it don't make sense. But he was like, I have a friend about to come over. She about to do my kid's hair. I said, okay, cool. But he told me the name. And I'm like, who is that? And he was like, oh, you know her. And I'm like, oh. I said, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Because this the girl that he thought they was like brothers and sisters would come out. I hacked into his phone again, and it was more than that.
So they were saying they were brothers and sisters, and they were sexually active as well.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay. I was like, well, can you just wait until I get off of work? And I was like, we'll see from there. I said, but just don't have her laying up in the bed. I was like, he was like, why? I was like, is you serious? So then I'm thinking that, okay, he just playing. You know, he just trying to get under my skin. He just playing. So I got off work. I came home, and it was dark. So when he opened the door, he went back and laid back on the couch and went back to sleep. So I'm like, why are he on the couch? And where the girl at? So I went to go to the refrigerator, put some in the refrigerator, came back, cut on the light, and a girl was laying like on the side of the bed that I lay on, and all the sheets and stuff that I had brought. So I'm like, no. So I was like, I said, no, no, no. So then I had hit him on the foot. I was like, what you got going on? So he was like, it's like he was still in the trance, like he had to wake up, wake up. So I told the girl, because she finally was getting up, I said, hey, you got to get out this room. I said, I don't know what y'all got going on. I was like, but you got to get up out this room. And he ended up snapping on me and said, she don't have to do a damn thing. And he ended up kicking me out.
So he kicked. Were y'all together at that time?
Yeah, we was together at the time,
pregnant?
and I was pregnant. Yes.
Wow. So how did that make you feel?
I was hurt. I would say, bruh, I can't even express how I felt at that moment because I was like, really, I'm like stung, and I'm like, is he really like? Even all the other times that we went through it, that I felt like that was the lowest part right there. And I'm like, bruh, I said, you really about to do this? And I mean, he just threw all my stuff out. And there was a lady across the street that actually helped me. I was like, man, I was like, this can't be real. And the next day, he said something. He was like, he don't have to be there for me. And I said, I understand that. I said, because we're not married. But he felt, I said, but at the end of the day, I said, but we are in this together. And I was like, you're supposed to have my back like I'm supposed to have yours. I said, I'm not sleeping with nobody else. So I'm like, I'm giving you respect how you want to respect. And I was like, you can't even show me the same thing. I said, you could have just wait till I got off of work. And I was like, but you want to do what you want to do. So I was like, that's how he put stuff. Like he felt because he the man, he could do whatever he want to do.
So like, was he a provider in a relationship?
Both of us was, but I would say I was the most that I was actually helping him out before he even got a house, before even all this, because he ain't had no, like when I met him, he ain't had nothing. Like you kept telling me you had your own, you ain't had your own, you was staying with somebody else, you ain't had no car, and you ain't had no job, no nothing, but I was the one that helped him out, and then when you finally got a spot, I was still helping you out, but you was helping me out too at the same time. But then
so
it's
y'all
like,
were helping each other.
Yeah, and then how he put is like, oh, I don't have to live with him because I didn't put down. And I'm like, what you mean I didn't?
You didn't put down what?
To stay with him. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, you moved in with your baby mama. You didn't move in with me. I said, even though you promised that we was gonna be moving in together, and it happened on my birthday, and we were supposed to go out on my birthday, but him and his baby mama ended up moving in the house, and then it was just.
So he was still with the baby mama, he was with you too?
Yes. That's how I asked him. I was like, you feel like you in a relationship with both of us? And he just smiled, and he smiled with no. And when he smiled, it's like, no, this man, he ain't telling the truth. Like.
So did you ever feel like, because you said you have 3 other boys,
yeah.
Right? So did you ever feel like you wanted to make it work with him because you didn't want to start over again?
And that's why I felt with my first kids. Like, cause me and my first kids, we was in a relationship for like 8 years. And I felt like I wanted to start all over because my first kids, he a drunk. But then I'm like, I got fed up with that. And I was like, okay, when I met him, I'm like, okay, well, I ain't gonna say my problems will be solved, but I felt like I probably could finally find somebody I could actually settle down with. They ain't gonna put me through what my first baby daddy put me through. And it was like, and he made it seem that, oh, I ain't nothing like him, you know, I'm better than him. And before he even moved into the spot, he had me thinking like, you think we should get a 3 or 4 bedroom with bunk beds and stuff? No.
None of that. So basically he told a lot of lies, a lot of deceit. So right now, how do you feel like, you know, with your confidence and your self-esteem, did this break you any, like?
It did. I felt like now I feel like I can't really trust a man. Like, it's gonna take a minute for me to trust another man.
So, and right now you should be, you know, focusing on you and your children.
Yeah.
Definitely, and you know, just trying to get yourself back together so you can learn to trust again.
Yes.
Because I can definitely tell that you have been through a lot, but one thing that I want to say is, I think sometimes we as women, we want it to work so bad.
Yes.
And we want it to work so bad, but what's meant for us will be meant for us, and what's not, we can't hold on to it. And I don't want you to hold on to a toxic situation.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like, that is very toxic.
Yeah.
You know, and it was never any respect there for you.
It never. And then the thing that he'll keep saying, that's the main thing that he'll try to make me get over it. is when he be like, they don't mean nothing to me. It's only you. They don't mean nothing to me. I'm just using them. And I'm like, okay, if you're gonna use somebody, don't use your thing. I'm like, it's plenty of ways. I say, even though it's not good to use
So
somebody.
he tells you that he was just using the other
Yeah,
woman. What a lot of men say. What a lot of men say.
I'm just
right?
getting money out of them. I'm like, but you acting like a gigolo. That's why I'm thinking like that's how I'm picturing him now.
Because you know, I talk to a lot of women on a daily basis. I tell them all the time, when it comes to men, actions speak louder than
Yes.
words. And I think that people need to get to the point where they realize a person can talk all day, but if they're not showing you, they're not, exhibiting that behavior. Like if a man wanted to be with you, he's gonna do everything in his power
Yes.
to show you that, to prove that to you, to make you feel secure. He's not gonna ever put you out when you're pregnant or let you find sex tapes in his phone. And that's what's bothering me right now as we sit down and talk about this, because
And the thing is, like, he don't even protect himself. And I told him, I was like, well, I said, you even had no condom on when she was going down. And he was like, I gotta have a condom on when she go down. I said, you think people don't have stuff in their mouth? I said, is this man serious?
so he didn't use protection.
No, I'm like, is you serious?
And how old is he?
He's 34.
Wow.
He'll be 35 in a couple of days.
So after everything has transpired, has he tried to get back with you?
Yes, every time when we think that I'm like, I'm done, I'm dead serious. This time I'm serious and like I'm through with you. But then it's like he come around and he apologized, and then he was like I said, he'll be like, oh, they don't mean nothing to me. You know, it's only you, and that I'm just benefit off of it and trying to benefit you. You getting a piece of a pie too. When I'm be like, but at the end of the day, it's like you treat me like I'm below them, and I'm like, if you gonna keep doing this, I'm like, bro, this.
So how do you feel, Dawn? Like, how do you feel like you deserve better?
Yes.
So how do you feel? Like, you don't think you deserve better?
I do. I really do. Cause I feel like I know what I could bring to the table.
Exactly.
And it's like, for me to keep going through it with him, it's like it's not even worth it. Cause it's gonna be.
Because what are you benefiting from
yes.
it? What
and
are you benefiting from it?
I'm not getting nothing out of it but hurt. That's it. And I'm like, I can't do it no more.
Well, I think you're a beautiful young woman.
Thank you.
And I want you to focus on you and your children and yourself.
Yes.
I tell a lot of women, you have to learn how to function outside of a relationship.
Yes.
A lot of women think that their only purpose is to be a wife. That's not your only purpose. It's a goal, but it's not your only purpose.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can be a business owner. You can be a boss. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to just be a wife or just be in a relationship or just be a girlfriend or just be a baby mama.
Yeah.
You know, it's way more to life out here. So I want you to focus on yourself, your children, and try to co-parent in a healthy situation, but let that just be it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's so easy to fall back into.
That is true.
I love you is powerful.
Let me tell you about that too, because when I told my mama about, this was before the video, and I told my mama about what he did recently by having another female with my baby over there. And I'm like, well, all this going around, you got this female up in here and everything.
So he's moved on already.
To tell you the truth, I don't know if he did, because I know he got multiple
baby mamas.
Multiple baby mamas and
multiple girlfriends.
Yes. So I'm like, okay, so I told my mama, and then when me and him started laughing on the phone, joking and stuff, but he made it seem like, even though I told him I'm moving on, he made it seem like, no, you still mine. And I'm like, what you mean I'm still yours? Like, man, I said, you got everybody, I'm like, you got everybody in your phone want to get with you. I'm like, so why you keep stuck on me? Yeah. I'm like, I'm not yours no more. Like, if I say we done, we dead, let's just be a parent to our child. That's it. But don't be going around telling people that I'm still yours. And like, yeah.
So with that being said, what's your next steps with everything? We're moving on with your life and picking things back up.
Cause right now cause I went on maternity leave, but now it's like at my job, it's like it's not going good. So then it's like I got another spot I could go to get a job, focus on that, making money and to provide for them instead of trying to look out for.
Is he a good father? Does he help you?
Yeah, I would say like if I need if I need anything he
You
provided
will
for me.
provide.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a plus.
I can't
You
doubt
know,
that right there.
sometimes people, just because they're not a good boyfriend
Friend,
doesn't mean they're
yes.
not a
A
good
good
father.
father,
You know,
yes.
I think women, they feel like sometimes when they can't have the man, they want to discredit the man. But
Yes.
just because y'all didn't work out doesn't mean he can't be a good father. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a
Cause
plus.
I really can't doubt that right there
Well,
at all.
that's a plus. So
Cause he hit my phone, be like, send me pictures, and you know, if you need anything, do he need clothes and stuff? He hit me up for that.
well,
And I'm
that's
like,
good. That's definitely a plus. So that takes a
but when
lot
I'm
off
at,
you.
but see how, cause I ended up stopping, cause I was in school, and now I'm about to go back to school now.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you definitely have some
and work,
things to
yes, and I gotta
occupy
work to
your
get my own
time.
spot and everything, cause
Well, it will happen. It will happen. Everything takes time.
it is.
So today, I want to definitely thank you for coming on the Pearl
You
Show, because I feel like so many women can learn from your story,
Yes.
and a lot of women go through the same thing every day.
Oh yes.
Every day. So
I
this
have
will
my
give them
friends
some
telling me the
hope.
same thing, like, girl, you better leave that man alone. I'm
Yeah,
like, yes.
yeah, because they'll bring you down, you
Yes.
know. And I really appreciate you coming on the Pearl Show, and this definitely will help a lot of women out there who may be going through situations with the father of their children. I want you to take this interview. I want you to share it. I want you to tag someone. I want you to repost it, and we thank you for tuning in. I want to thank my beautiful guest today. Thank you so
And all
much.
I can say, everything that's out there that look good is not good. Okay.
Okay. Y'all have a good day.